Hello everyone. In this moment, it will be shown a research called Deep Learning Applied to ERP in the Search for the Spatial Intelligence Signatures by Ábner Alves Pereira and Lidio Mauro Lima de Campos, linked to the Federal University of Pará in Brazil. In this presentation, we will see a quick introduction to the search team and its objectives. Afterward, the materials and methods used and the results achieved and the conclusion. To better describe human behavior, more and more researchers are studying interactions within the brain through neuroscience. It's no news, for example, to detect bully motivation, to classify emotions or Alzheimer's, to predict epileptic attacks, or to measure a human being intelligence. In search of more assertive solutions, techniques such as deep learning have been widely used. It treats the machine learning for an algorithm set that matches in several layers, as they are able to deal with imperfections and pattern recognition in noisy series, such as electroencephalogram series. As for the assessment of intelligence, the main means used to carry out this task are the traditional individual psychosomatic tests, which are scored the subject based on several subtests based on metrics, such as the intelligence quotient or IQ. In the literature, it's possible to observe these related as varieties of instruments, in addition to being questioned by some authors that matches them with cultural bias, and observation of the influence by tests with inappropriate psychometric properties. And Leroy said about automatic extraction of biomarkers using deep learning and artificial neural networks to observe patterns in signatures or event-related potentials. ERP is a set of values of an individual's specific brain activity when exposed of a certain stimulus, associated with the degree of spatial intelligence. Becoming the objective of the research, it's to observe the presence of signature patterns by ERP and match them with the degree of spatial intelligence of a person as an alternative to a traditional IQ test based in tasks. About ANN, we know that they are computational models that stimulate tasks performed by neural structure of the brain being able to perform machine learning through its algorithms, which can be deep, that is, perform abstractions from several layers of processing. And that, despite the concept of intelligence being quite comprehensive, this study dealt with visual spatial intelligence that are related to the ability to perceive, perform transformations, and recreate mental image from visual stimuli. EEG samples were used from 18 electrodes from the frontal and parietal lobes of 19 subjects aged between 13 and 21 years, predefined in the control of gifted groups collected during a mental rotation test, producing for each exam between 120 and 160 ERP with 1500 signals. Mental rotation stands it was an experiment where participants were introduced to pairs of three-dimensional figures with different orientations. After the acquisition of EEGs from noise removal, the data was pre-processed with fourth-order Butterworth filters, baseline correction, removal of artifacts with ICA, independent component analysis, definition of the new reference of general electrical activity with CAR, common average reference. For the experiments, four MLP type ANN models were used, pre-adjusted by auto-tuning with mean absolute error as objective function and HELU as a hidden layer activation function, one for each experimental group, control and super gifted, related to the frontal and parietal lobes, trained under supervised learning approach in the Python language. Now looking through the results. On the left side, we can see the average of the raw electrode signals across all experiments made in the subject. On the right side, the average of the signs offer the pre-processing step for the same subject. As was already said, it was necessary 4 different models, as we can see in the graph of the dataset used as a reference, which is the average among the subject in the experimental group. Frontal lobe signals are more negative, while those of the parietal lobe are positive. The results are both the control and super gifted groups. After training during thousand decades, we can see that the models managed to converge, reducing their learning error, showing us it managed to extract information from frontal and parietal lobe among control and super gifted groups. With the trained and tested models, a prediction test was performed with a new series of ERP, where the models were able to bring predicted values very close to the actual values, as we can see in the predictions given by the parietal lobes models from the control and super gifted groups, presenting at the end of the results of mean absolute errors of 0.80 for the control group models and 0.54 for the super gifted group. To conclude the research, this study ends with promising results, indicating that there are spatial intelligence signature patterns in the target audience ERP. It is evident that the extraction of evoked potential signatures related to the frontal lobe needs more attention, because of the model of the scenario presents error values at scales greater than those of the parietal lobe. The aim of this study was to achieve by performing exhaustive pre-processing tasks on EEG data and presenting promising results, leaving the projection of more simulations involving other ANN models for ERP classification, in addition to performing a deeper analysis of the clean data from dimensionality reduction with feature selection. Thank you.